Well, do you really want to be like all those other guys? No, not at all. Okay. So, how about a power phrase that I want you to tattoo somewhere so you can see it easily when this happens again?
You're listening to 5 Hour Real Estate Week, where you'll learn to consistently buy real estate in only 5 hours a week. So if you're ready to invest in real estate, achieve financial freedom, and own the lifestyle you deserve, even with your job, this is the show for you. Now, here's your host, Mike Butler.
Hello there, fellow investors, and welcome to the 5 Hour Real Estate Week podcast. I'm Mike Butler, and today's episode is a result of I just finished up a one-on-one coaching session with one of my platinum members, and this popped into my mind, and I just got to get it out there and share it with you because you can use this today, beginning right now. So how about a power phrase to overcome one of the seller's most frequent questions? Now, if you've been doing this very long, you're going to find out when you identify or find a motivated seller, they're going to start interviewing you. And that's okay. They should. Put yourself in the seller's shoes. And so what they do is if they are, in fact, a true motivated seller, they're going to get beat up by, depending on how much they do their search and who they contact and all this and that, they're going to get beat up by a bunch of other investors that really haven't been trained properly. And let me give you an example. So this happens to me frequently. And it will start happening to you if it hasn't already been started already. So many folks, you got all kinds of gurus out there preaching, teaching, selling books, tapes, courses, seminars, webinars, virtual things, all. Here's what's going to happen to you. So you're going to be on the phone. This usually happens on the phone with a seller, and they are shopping, trying to find somebody to buy their house for as much as they can get, right? And as fast as they can. That's what makes them a motivated seller. So they dealt with other investors, and these other investors that they dealt with, the seller would ask them, what's your formula for buying houses? Then I might say, well, what are you talking about? He says, well, I talked to Ralph. He came out and looked at my house, and he gave me a price. And I asked him, so how'd you come up with that price? What's your formula? And he says, well, I take 80% of what it's worth minus repairs. Oh, he talked to Steve. Steve said, I do 75% minus repairs. Then maybe Stephanie says, well, I do somewhere 75 to 80% minus repairs. Well, do you really want to be like all those other guys? No, not at all. Okay. So how about a power phrase that I want you to tattoo somewhere so you can see it easily when this happens again? And here's what I say. So the seller asked me, Mike, what's your formula? And I say, okay, Mr. Seller, here's my formula. I pay market value and sometimes more. I'm going to repeat that. Here's your conquering, overcoming their question here. I pay market value and sometimes more. Now, is that a lie? No, it's not. I pay market value and sometimes more. What if he's going to sell or finance? What if he's willing to own or finance it at 0% interest? Could I pay more than market value for something like that? Yeah. So my formula to buying your property is I pay market value and sometimes more. Don't get into the percents minus repairs and all that. It makes you look like a newbie. And another thing, I want you to etch this one in stone too. He who mentions price first loses. And it could be she who mentions price first loses. The point being, you never ever want to mention price first. So if the motivated seller, the very first question you should ask them, what's your asking price? Remember that? They say, well, I'm asking $125,000. Okay, so now you got a place to start. They mentioned price first. So you go through the mini pitch card questions that are in there and follow them step by step, read them to your motivated seller, and bingo, you will see that they will, if they are in fact a motivated seller, they will drop their price before the end of that 5-minute phone call. So hang on to this, do the others. Remember your power phrase to overcome the seller's challenging question of what's your formula? I pay market value and sometimes more. Adios. Have a good day. Make some deals.
Glad you joined us for another episode of 5 Hour Real Estate Week. The best thing you can do now is put this information to action. To help you get started, Mike created a free resource for you called How to Buy 50 Houses a Year, Even with Your Job. Download it now by going to mikebutler.com/50 houses. And we'll see you on the next episode.